Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful morning this morning. We had some rain come through last night, and it cooled things down, so I'm going to be able to get out here this morning while it's cooling work, because the garden's kind of getting out of hand. A lot of grass has grown up. I don't understand that. As much heat and the sun just blaring down the garden, you wouldn't think that grass would grow, but it's took over everything. And it's just been, the heat index has been like 115. It's just really it's been hard. Things are doing good. I got some blight problems on my tomatoes, and I've really been trying to keep up with that. I've been doctoring them. I've been doing everything I can to keep the blight from taking over the plants. I go through this every year though, so that's nothing new. But I'm still getting some tomatoes, so that's okay. And with the weather that we've had, we've went from freezing weather to plain just so hot. It's just, it's been years since I've known it to be this hot, this soon. So the plants kind of got shocked from one thing, but that's Arkansas for you. But anyways, but there's a lot of good too. Not everything's bad. When you grow a garden, there's always going to be something. It don't matter. Nothing's going to be perfect. But I've still got a lot of stuff, and as you'll see, there's a lot of stuff that's really doing good. Now, my little food forest back here behind the house is what I call it. And I'm still working on it. We've only been on this place going on 4 years, so there's still a lot of work to do in my garden. Every time you move to a new place, you have to start over. But I like it. I like a new challenge. So I just work on a little bit at a time. But I'm going to try to get some things done while it's cool this morning. I'm so excited that it feels this good. I've got some... I don't use any kind of pesticides, and I don't even use Sevin Dust or anything like that. I try to get away from all that stuff. And I come out here before work about every morning, and I look for squash bugs, because them little boogers will absolutely destroy your garden. So I'll come out, and I'll find the eggs, and I'll find the squash bugs, and I'll do away with them. So that's a challenge every day too. But I think I've got them conquered. I think I do. You're still going to find the eggs, and you're still going to have to, have to deal with them. Because I just don't understand how they come from the ground, and they'll get up there, and you won't even see them, and they'll lay their little eggs on the crevice of the leaves, and they're little red eggs. So if you can see them and get them pulled off, you've done a lot. You'll help a lot. And then if I see the squash bugs, I'll pick them off and I'll squish them. So I think I've helped that a lot by just being diligent about coming out and looking for them. I've had end rot real bad, and I've done all I can do for that too. Calcium and all that I go through this every year. But what's funny about here where I live in Arkansas, as time goes on, my garden gets better on into coming into fall. And it's because we have anymore so much humidity with the heat. Sometimes you walk outside and you can't even cut the air with a knife. It's so thick. And it causes a lot of leaf mold and different diseases. So as things start cooling off, I notice that my plants start thriving. So I don't give up on them. I've got squash plants that look like they wouldn't just going to die, but they've got new beginnings on them. They've got, they're trying to start over, so I hate to pull them all up. But I'm just going to do the best I can, and baby everything, and keep it going, because it's so much work, and you try to feed your family, so you have to get out here every day and be diligent with it, and just it's just another job, but I love it. So I have been getting a lot of tomatillos. My green beans, I don't understand. I planted a different green bean this year, and I'll go back to what I've always planted, and that's a Kentucky Wonder Bush bean. Now this year I planted pole beans, and blooms everywhere. No beans yet. Now I have looked this morning, and I'm seeing a few beans, but my beans have always done well here, and they're slow this year for some reason. My tomatoes have done good. I've been getting quite a few squash. I've had to replant my zucchini, but the new plants are coming up and looking beautiful. So my sweet potatoes down through here are doing good. I've dug up, of course, my potatoes. They didn't make as many this year as I did last year, but I still got plenty. I've canned several. I brought back, I guess, 100 pounds of potatoes from Texas, and I got them canned. And so everything's doing good. And as time goes on, it's going to get better. We just have had excessive heat, and things have just really been struggling. So, anyways, I'm going to get busy before it starts getting too hot. And whatever you are doing out there today, and what you've got planned for today, please be safe, and have a wonderful weekend. And God bless.
Now this is one of my my pie pumpkin plant, and I tell you, day before yesterday, every one of these leaves were pretty and green. Now I want you to look at them now. All it takes is a day for everything to change, but I mean they're still doing fine. It could be worse. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to prune these bad stems off, because all they're doing is sucking any nutrient that they are getting out of the good part. So I'm going to get down here low, and right up next to the main stem, I'm going to clip that off and get that out of there. And you see how that stem is not green? It was getting nothing. It's dead. So that's why the leaf is dead. And get rid of that. And that's what I'm going to do with this, all of these, is I'm going to come down through here and I'm going to prune all these bad stems off here. Because you don't want to leave it, and if they are getting any of the nutrients from the good plants, you just don't want them doing that. So you might as well get them off, because they're dead anyways. So that's what I'm going to spend my time doing this morning too, is getting them all off there. Now this right here is my dipper gourds. Now, that's what we call them, or dipper gourds. And it's crawling up my fence. You see it, it's doing real well. And I'm really proud of it, because it's going to put on quite a few gourds. Over here to the left, that's a pumpkin that's growing up the fence. But all this is gourds. And you see how it's went down through there at the top of the fence, and just crawl all the way down through there. And it's even at the end, I watched it do it. It reached and reached till it got to that limb, and it's just hanging on for dear life. It's the funniest thing. But I want to show you a baby dipper gourd. That way you'll know what I'm talking about. That's a baby dipper gourd, and I'm sure y'all call it something else. And then this is the next size, and some of them will get bigger, and when they're cured good, I'll make dippers and spoons out of them. But I want you to look at this. Is that not funny? I mean, I didn't do that, y'all. It reached its little arms up there and just grabbed hold of that limb. I don't know who's going to go up there and pick them gourds, but... And this was a volunteer tomato that come in out of this wheelbarrow, and I didn't do anything with it because I've been taking care of it, because it's got some good tomatoes on it. And that's just food for us, so I need to tie that stem up, though. But everything is so dense. I want you to look how dense it is. I can't complain. It seems to be doing pretty good. I mean, you're going to have your ups and downs with everything, and this is a squash plant that decided it wanted to, I guess it wanted to live on the other side of the garden, I don't know, but I just let it do its thing. And there's my zinnias. And look at the grass. Oh, it kills me. I don't like that. I want to show you this little pie pumpkin. I just love these little things, and I hope I get several of them because I'd like to can them. I'd like to put them up, but it's going to take a while for it to mature and get ready to pick. Well, this is crabgrass. Now, people, this makes me mad. I don't like this stuff. It's hard to pull up too. But what do? I'm just going to let the pumpkin vine, I'm going to just let it just go wherever it wants to go. Let it grab on wherever it wants to grab on. And just take care of it the best I can and see what it provides for me. My flowers have had kind of a rough way to go in all this heat. The zinnias, some of them are still blooming, some of them are dying. Purple whole peas, done good. I've done picked a bunch of those and I'm letting them dry. Tomato plants are kind of getting out of hand up there. But it's got some really good tomatoes on them. My tomatillos. And if you look down through here, I mean, this is really dense. Look at my look at my little sunflowers. And this one right here is taller than the roof, and it just keeps it going. I don't know. You can't even see the sunflowers. It's so tall. It's ridiculous. I've had to tie my zinnias up because they were getting so big and tall and just falling over. But look how thick. Now down the bottom are sweet potatoes, and they're just doing so good, and they're so beautiful. The plants are beautiful. Then you got okra at the end, and beans, and tomatoes, and tomatillos. I mean, it's all looking good. I want to pick some tomatillos, and I've had people ask me, Lori, how can you tell when a tomatillo is ready to be picked? So I'm going to show you. Now this one I done picked it, and the husk was full and starting to peel back from the tomatillo. But I want to show you. This is one that's not ready to pick, and look when I squeeze it. You see that little tomatillo that's in there is not very big, so it's not filled out all the way. It's not mature. So these are the ones that's not ready. Now you move over here, and you see this one, when I pinch it, that husk is full. And you see how the husk is starting to pull away from the tomatillo. So this one's ready. So that's the difference. That one, and then this one. You can tell the difference. This one's not ready. So that's all there is to it, to know when one's ready to be picked. And I'm going to pull the husk away from this just a little bit to show you. Because your tomatillos are going to be green. They're not going to turn any other color. It's just the color they are. Of course, you know the color of salsa verde. It's green. So, and that's what salsa verde is made out of, those tomatillos. Look at that beautiful little thing. But I'm going to go through here. And I'm going to see how many I've got ready to be picked, because I've got some already in the house. I need to make some more salsa verde. See this one? It's ready, because you've seen how the husk was pulling away from it. You see how full it is. I'll pick that one. Now this one right here, so you can see it's not ready. It's not mature enough. And this one don't have nothing in it. It's no good. Just take that off. But anyways, I'm gonna get these and get them in my basket, and look at that one. That one's ready too. So pretty. I just love growing them. See how that husk pulled away from there? That's a pretty one. Wish they all were that pretty.
Now, as you can see, I've still got quite a few tomatoes come off this plant, but if you can see through here, I've had to trim a bunch of the lower limbs and leaves down because they got the blight. And believe me, I've been babying them. I don't know. I guess it's the weather. That's what I'm going to blame it on. But I'm just going to keep trying to take care of them and get as many tomatoes off of them. And they're still putting blooms on. Now the blooms are coming up here on the top because they're way up here, the top of the tomato plant. So I'm just going to keep doctoring them and babying them and get as many tomatoes off of them as I can. And if I take care of them and don't let them die from the blight, I'll have tomatoes plumb into the first frost. So that's a good thing. But I just don't give up on nothing. So I think it's doing good, even though we've had some of the weirdest weather. But just stay with it, and I think I'm fixing to plant some more squash. And it'll be coming up in cooler weather, hopefully. And I'm going to clean out my greenhouse and get it ready for fall stuff. So there's always something to do. But I'm just not going to give up on my tomatoes. And they're like 8 foot tall, and I've been pruning them back. And they're putting on blooms on top, so I'm just going to take care of them and see what they do. This Black Beauty zucchini plant, it was one of my first zucchini plants that come up, and it was really a pretty plant. And I got several zucchinis off of it, so I was really happy with it. But then all of a sudden, it started going bonkers on me. And you can see down here it's putting on new growth down here at the bottom. And I just had to keep it trimmed. And this is, when I say bonkers, this is what it was doing. So I would just keep trimming that off because I just refused to pull the whole plant up. And doing that, it has put on new growth, and it's looking a lot better. Plus I've been fertilizing it with calcium and nitrogen. So, and this one back here too was doing the same thing, and it is putting new growth on. So what I'm saying is, don't give up on your squash plants. Now the one thing I can say about the ones that are out here in the containers, I've not had any problems with squash bugs on them yet, because squash bugs come from the ground and come up to your plant and ruin your plant. So that's one good thing I can say about putting your different squashers in containers. I've not had that problem. So I'm hoping that these will come back. They're looking better. Just don't give up on it. Back here, I wanted to show y'all, this is a wild plum tree. And I had this thing, and here's another one right down here. But I had this thing in a container for like a couple of years. And I just had it outside, and it looked awful. And I just never did get around to replanting it anywhere. And it was dying. It had one little sprig on it. And it was ate up and just looked horrible. But I brought all these wood chips in. And I had my son-in-law and my little grandson. They come in when I was out here working, putting my garden together and doing stuff. And they asked if they'd help me. And I said, I really would like to get this wild plum out here in the garden. I said, it's about dead. Let's just see if we can save it. So they did. And we planted it down here in the wood chips. And I keep it fertilized. And there has been bugs kind of eating on it, but you just can't help that around here, especially out in the middle of the woods. But this thing has really took off, and I think it's going to do good out here. So I'm really happy about that. But this was given to me by a lady from church, and they were wild plums. So hopefully by this time next year they'll be doing good. The light eggplant, and we don't eat a lot of eggplant, but I do like to have some fresh out of the garden because I will cook it and eat it, but it's just not one of our favorite things to eat. But of course I go as organic as I can, so you can tell that there's different little bugs. You can't even see the bugs when you come out here, but they are eating on it. But they do have several blooms on them, and it's a light eggplant. I just planted it not too long ago. So I'm hoping it does well over here, and maybe we'll get a few eggplants. Like I said, it's not something that we just... In fact, I never really started growing them till, I guess, the last couple of years. And I'll make different recipes out of them, but it's not that big a deal. But it's putting on new growth up here, so I think it's going to do okay in this container. Okay, we're on the other side of the bed, and that's that squash plant. And this is my butterfly tree, and the blooms are about dead on it, but I'm telling you, it attracted a bunch of butterflies. This right here's got a tomato going right in the middle of my little teepee here, and you see how pretty them tomatoes are? They're really pretty. And I've got some tomatillos on this side too that are doing good, but those tomatoes are good and healthy. That's what I like to see. So we go down through here, and this is where my green beans are. And some tomatillos have made it growing on this side too, but these beans are so thick, and I'm telling you, there was blooms everywhere, but I haven't picked a bean yet. I'm so disgusted because by now I would have done canned a bunch of beans. I'm hoping that eventually they'll start producing. They're just taking forever. This is a volunteer tomato that I've just left there. See what it does. And more beans, and I've got a volunteer tomato that come up beside that panel too. Look how tall the beans are. My okra's down through here. It's doing great. I can't wait for it to start producing. And I got some more sweet potatoes here. I just think the vines of a sweet potato are so pretty. And it'll probably run plumb on this side too. And if it does, I'll let it. Just let nature take its course. And there's a volunteer tomato in there too. It's all of them volunteer tomatoes has come from the compost that I mixed in there. And that happens every year. Some more sweet potato plants. And the okra. Now, I had to put mesh around this okra. We had to pull it up and put that mesh fence around it because my okra started falling over because we had a big hard rain and it just beat it to the ground. So that's why that mesh fence is around it. But I want you to look at this. This is from, I believe, we have a big dew in the morning, and it's all over these top okra plants. And then all of a sudden, you've got instant 80, 90 degrees. Well, everything's doing good, and we're eating a lot out of the garden this year. My squash plants have petered out on me, but I'm going to replant all them. There's just not enough time to cover everything in the garden. Hope you enjoyed, and please, guys, give me a thumbs up, and God bless.